Hey, what is up everyone? I am Jewel here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Rayman Raving Rabbids 2 for the Nintendo Wii/PC. So, last time we have managed to able to, well, play some of these other mini-games based off from Europe, and also we did manage to able to take on the forms of that particular second shooting range kind of game. So today for this episode is the fact that we are about to be moving on to the next selections of mini-games, but this time around we are about to be going on to Asia, such as for instance it could be either Chinese, Japan, or anything like that, which that's as far as I can usually think about it. So either way though, and conveniently enough though, is the fact that we're actually on the halfway point of this Let's Play already. So anyways, let's get this thing to it by once again selecting normal mode. And to begin with, for the first mini-game of this region is Shopping Cart Downhill. So reach the finish line first. So hold the Wii mode upright and tilt it left and right to steer. And if you play this on 2-player mode, you have to tilt at the same time. So even then though, because of that though, you have to rely on the forms of syncing the actual motion controls to your partner and stuff like that. So, but that's how it goes basically. So even then though, kind of thing about it though, is the fact that this minigame feels remarkably similar to Bike Race, except the biggest difference is this time is the fact that, well, obviously it takes place in a different region, and second is that rather than take control of the actual bike, instead we're actually going to be taking control of the trolley itself. So, you know, you get the idea for that solution. So, obviously it might actually play out pretty similar to Bike Race. Also, is the fact that you need to avoid a lot of hazards, mainly with those rocks and a lot of animals essentially, because obviously if you get hit by those obstacles, including, or objects I should say, including those animals, once again you will lose points if you manage to able to get hit by them. So, but luckily for me, I simply didn't get hit once, so as a result, I should probably guarantee to able to get my flawless run, and to top it all off is the fact that I might able to get ourselves the next costume. So as a result, yep, there's one over there. So either way though, yeah, there's not much else to say. So anyways, let's move on to the next minigame here. I'm really hoping that we can able to get new minigames that I haven't exactly unlocked yet. So, baseball, run and strike. So shake the Wiimote and Wii nunchuck up and down one after the other to run. And then whilst you're able to actually try to deal with the batting, we have to simply swing the Wiimote to hit. So apologize for that particular commentary skills like that, just because again it's been a couple of days, or actually kind of thinking about it, it's actually been 2 days since I've actually did manage to get back into commentary and stuff. So yeah, that's as far as I can think about it. So anyways, let's go ahead and just run up, and yeah, sometimes my nunchuck doesn't seem to work with me half the time right here. So yeah, you just have to basically run up, and that's all you really have to do here. So, and there goes this huge leap right here. And then, as soon as you're able to actually let the rabbit get close to you, well, it's your opportunity, just hit it like that, and you should able to actually just to guarantee to let the rabbits get launched off. And well, I think I'm in second place kind of thing about it, because I was expecting if I was going to aim for first place to get a next costume, but luckily though, since we did manage to play this game for the first time, or in this case baseball minigame, we actually unlocked the actual next costume for Rabbids by simply able to actually experience that minigame. So kudos to that, I suppose. Alright, so we have the next minigame on here, which appears to be Spicy Chicken, and the objective is to cook chickens. So basically we need to shake the Wiimote to eat up the pepper. Beware, if you eat too many peppers, you'll burn the chicken, so you don't want to do that. And swing the nunchuck to throw the pepper away, and finally, I think it's pressing the A button to just to cook the chicken. So the higher the gauge, then the more value of points you can get. So as far as the forms of Asian minigames as far as I'm concerned, these two minigames I actually didn't get on my own time, so as a result, it's a good thing that we've now finally managed to got these, the final 2 mini-games that I've now recently just unlocked, during my playthrough of the game. So yeah, that's pretty cool, especially noticeable how the fact that, well, every time whenever you get into the trips for the first time, sometimes it gets a little bit more randomized each time during certain mini-games you want to play through. So yeah, you totally get the idea of how this goes, so... But you know, a few things I want to explain about this also is the fact that today's day is of course the 26th of August today, in this case in 2020. Not much else has been going on, apart from the fact that, well, as I mentioned this before already, that we might able to actually hoping to get the next Nintendo Direct and during it at some point this week. Turns out, according to the forms of rumors, we might can, but I really don't know if I have any comments about the fact that what specific Direct we might get, but we'll see what happens during that some form or another. And, so close. I was so close to getting first place by able to actually just, well, if only if I don't mess up on that particular, almost towards the end right here. But regardless of everything else though, I think we're actually doing pretty okay. And also we've actually got ourselves an Arabian Rayman kind of costume. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. So anyways, now let's move on to the next minigame on here, which is, Plumber Rabbits. So, unblock the toilets. So, swing quickly the Wii remote up and down in the right up position, and that way you would be able to continuously doing that. So, yeah, that's how it goes basically of how this minigame's gonna plays out, is that you have to specifically, you know, shake the Wii remote continuously until you're able to actually just to unblock the toilet. So, yeah, that's how it goes basically with this minigame. So, sorry about this, guys. It's just have to just keep on doing that, and then eventually, the more you shake the Wii remote up and down, then you would be able to actually expect to see how much points you're going to be gathering. Such as, for instance, I've got 16,590 points. So that will guarantee to give me, well, first place in general. So even then, though, kudos to that, I suppose. But either way, though, self-explanatory if you manage to get the hang of it, though. So anyways, now let's move on to the next mini-game. So, yeah, it looks like so far we're actually getting pretty close to that particular target amount of points for that trip. So hopefully we would be able to actually unlock some more costumes later down the road. So, but then again, unfortunately, this is not the 100% playthrough, I'm afraid. So, the office, don't get caught by the boss. So basically, we have to shake the Wii remote to mess around and hold still to get back to work. So, this minigame feels incredibly similar to the ones in the forms of that particular USA minigame from the likes of, you know, with that dial mobile phone game that we always have to be like, well, trying to able to actually not to play around with the phone and a big screen or something like that. You know what the minigame I'm talking about here. Except the biggest difference is now is the fact that it does take place in the office this time, and also because of this though, I just felt like this minigame can be pretty tricky most of the time, even especially noticeable where, oh really? I totally forgot about this part. Even especially noticeable, there has been donkeys here since I actually first, well, since I've actually last played this game. Oh, jeez. I did not even notice for that particular point, so... Oh, well. No big deal. But either way, though, we'll just go ahead to keep on ranking up some more points. Unfortunately, I don't think I can make it to first place, because most of the time it's the fact that my motion controls responsiveness didn't exactly stop. So... And also keep that in mind is the fact that, you know, much like in Dial R for Rabbids minigame, is the fact that, well, you always have to rely on that particular, the boss here, so that way you don't get caught. And then if you do manage to get caught, unlike the Dial Phone minigame, basically it's the fact that you will lose points if you get caught. Because unlike the other minigame that I explained this to you earlier, basically it's the fact that you would be able to get stunned for a few seconds. So, at least assuming if you're able to actually, depending on what difficulty mode you're going to be choosing. But either way though, that's how I can really think about it. Alright, onwards to the next minigame here, Smoke on the Water, which I think is actually once again a musical performance kind of minigame. So we probably get the idea for this point, and I do apologize for that particular graphical glitches on my capture card right here, so I do apologize for that. But I'm hoping that during the next part and onwards, I would able to actually fix it. Specifically, whenever we're able to actually getting quite close towards the end of the game, so... yeah, because of that though, there's not much else I can say about this here, so either way though, according to the forms of that particular Nintendo Direct rumor, about the fact the matter is though, is the fact that it might able to actually take place on Friday of all things, which it seems pretty weird able to actually takes place in Friday, which I'm also able to actually just to double check on the actual the past Nintendo Direct days, and then because normally, basically, it's the fact that it does sometimes manage to take place in Thursdays or Wednesdays, essentially, for most of the years. But then rarely, in a rare occasion, wherein specifically for this year, that we sometimes manage to get one on Thursdays, and then rare occasions that we got one on, well, only one of them on Monday, and even especially noticeable, there was one on Tuesday. And it's just all over the place when it comes to likely for specific announcements in mind. And even especially noticeable how the fact that we might able to get one from Friday. So even then, now that could be pretty surprising, all things considered. Well, depending if the actual types that usually, relatively speaking, is the fact that, do you remember in about a month ago that we did technically got the Nintendo Direct Mini during about a month ago, but sadly it's a bit of a lackluster experience, probably because it's way too short, and because of that it mainly focuses on third-party support. And of course, the most infamous thing out of them all is the fact that, well, it's a partner showcase, which I'll have to admit though right away, without doubt, that is probably one of the worst directs I've ever seen in my life. Especially because we were expecting to see the 3D Mario remasters during at some point in the future. Although, to be fair though, it's the fact that we've still only got about lesser than a month to go until the Super Mario Bros. 35th anniversary will make it happen. Especially noticeable how the fact that compared to you know, in 2010, that we did celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Super Mario Bros. And then they did manage to release a re-release of Super Mario All-Stars on the Nintendo Wii. But usually it's because the Super Nintendo game is usually slapped onto the Wii disc, and that's pretty much all I can really think about that. And, especially noticeable considering how the fact that in 2015 that we did got the 30th anniversary of the Super Mario Bros. Game, which all we got is Super Mario Maker for the Wii U, which is a very surprising title to celebrate. And then I think back in 2005, if I recall, basically we would be able to actually get ourselves the Game Boy Micro Famicom version, which does manage to contain the 20th anniversary of the Super Mario. I think I remember that correctly. So, but either way though, I'm not exactly sure of how do I expect for that point. So, but either way though, okay, something worth talking about as well is the fact that, well, basically, oh man, the music in this is so good. Even because of how the fact that, because, well, I'm more into the forms of that particular, you know, rocking kind of stuff. But either way though, unfortunately for the sake of time, I can't allow you to able to actually hear this, because if we somehow manage to hear this during the actual thing, oh man, we might get screwed over by copyright claims, which we're not gonna make it happen. So, but you know, you get the idea. But I actually gotta admit it though, is the fact that I actually really love this incarnation of Smoking on the Water theme song, which if you couldn't tell already, because of how the fact that, because I just really like the sense of my nostalgia reasons or something. So, but I digress. So either way, I suppose that the last time we actually had a Friday Nintendo Direct, which I think it only takes place in Japan, that's the main focus on that particular year. It was actually in 2012, in October the 5th. That's the last time we had the Nintendo Direct takes place on Friday. Now, as a result, it only just managed to take place in Japan, as I said earlier, and the main focus on that, it was actually Animal Crossing New Leaf. So, yeah, it's been almost about 8 years since when that usually happens. So, but anyways, we actually unlock not only this costume, but this costume as well. So even I know, kudos to that. Especially noticeable how the fact that we actually doing this, well, for the entire trip itself is actually pretty good. Even though there are a few exceptions, mind you, such as that we actually did a pretty rough run in terms of the office minigame, because sometimes timing is a little bit strict. So, anyway, so we've basically played some of these minigames after all. So what minigames are we missing? Well, in terms of minigames we have not played yet, we've not played Laundry, Rabbit School, and especially noticeable with the China House. So we'll go for the actual chronological order by starting with, of course, the laundry minigame. So basically we have to wash the laundry, as you can tell. So basically we're just gonna have to like shake the Wiimote and the nunchuck back and forth, one after the other, to wash the laundry. And then hold the Wiimote and the nunchuck upright to check the laundry. So yeah, that's how it goes basically. So something's worth mentioning for this point as well is the fact that I've noticed that I've seen the PC version of this game, and the only major differences between the two, between the Wii version and the PC version, is that the PC version doesn't have that much minigames. I think they've got about 4 minigames each category. So in this case, I'm presuming they've got 16 minigames on the PC version, because compared to the Wii version does have a lot more minigames, probably because there was motion controls and stuff like that. And yeah, that's as far as I can usually think about it. And also, not to mention as well, is that the PC version of this game doesn't have an option to able to go from trip to trip or anything like that, unlike the Wii console version. So because of that though, yeah, I just have no idea why they just managed to able to actually just didn't get a customizable trip option, or even especially noticeable with the trip option essentially. So, you know, the one we have to go for likely sometimes 6 minigames and sometimes 4 minigames. I'm pretty sure that if you manage to able to play any of the trips without the nunchuck, I believe what happens is the fact that I'm pretty sure you might able to only play a little amount of minigames, and then as far as when you have the nunchuck attachment on, basically you would be able to play all 6 minigames, or to be more specifically, some 6 minigames in that particular one run. So yeah, something's worth to talk about. So yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, sadly we didn't get into first place on that particular minigame, but that's fine because these are the only minigames that we have not seen yet. So that's that. And now let's move on to Rabbit School. This minigame is actually pretty fun, even though despite in a normal mode, might actually be a little bit more tricky if you really want to go for the high scores. So throw paper balls at the teacher. So basically we just have to shake the Wiimote to throw paper balls when the teacher isn't looking. And since this is on normal mode, point at the rabbit with the Wiimote and press A to snitch on him. So thinking about the fact that who did that and who did that or anything like that. So that's as far as I can try and say about this here. So anyways though, let's go ahead and watch this little cinematic here, even though it tells you the actual things itself to do. And, well, we can able to hopefully try to aim for 12,000 or more points. So oh, dang it, I accidentally just throw it. And yeah, much like the office, is that if you somehow manage to get caught by a teacher, basically you weren't able to lose points. So okay, so it looks like he just keeps on focusing on the actual the drawing board. Oh boy. I think it's like, ah, dang it! If he gets like the majority vote, basically he'll just toss at one of those objects at you. So sometimes with CPUs it can be pretty luck-based most of the time. Clearly it's because of how that this is on normal mode. If this is on multiplayer, it will be pretty crazy kind of thing about it. So anyways, I think, oh, those two managed to get owned right there. Even though despite the fact that the CPUs didn't get points, unlike regular human players do receive points. So, oh boy. Oh, okay, thank God I didn't get caught by that. And looks like it's, oh no, 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 no. dang it. I was so close for that particular comfort right there. But hopefully we'll try to able to get enough points until whenever we get ourselves, hopefully, the new costume. So, at least specifically whatever I think about it. Oh, plus also is the fact that I do apologize for that particular phone background noise you'd be hearing, just because my husband Blue did manage to able to actually have a discussion on me about the fact that what things shall we do before I am done with this recording session for today. So as a result, yeah, there's not much anything else to say. So, oh boy, thank God I didn't get my majority vote there. Especially noticeable how the fact that we're actually doing pretty good. Actually, kind of think about it. Oh wait, is this over? Oh wait, it's not over yet because we got one last snitch segment here. And in fact, those two white Rabbids on the right basically they'll just get smacked at the end. So, hooray! We've now got ourselves our first place high scores. So hopefully we would get able to get ourselves our next costume, which is based off from Splinter Cell, which is pretty cool though, because Splinter Cell was also be part of the actual Ubisoft video game company, which is pretty cool if I must say. So anyways though, the last minigame on Asia selections of minigames that we've not shown yet is the China House, and I think this is a minigame I'm not exactly good at it. Well, usually sort of good at it, but at the same time not good at it at the same time. So, spin the plates at the right speed. So basically we have to hold the Wiimote upright and rotate it at the right speed to spin, and not too fast or too slow. So yeah, you just have to get exactly the right speed, and then that way you would able to rank up more points. And I think it's all about some more plates will be stacked up. I believe you get more points in the process, so. And yeah, sometimes the actual cutscene cinematics, like some audio cues, just sometimes feels a little bit out of sync sometimes whenever they although nothing too much of a nitpicking right there, but it's just that sometimes it can be a little bit, oh dang it, okay, whatever. Anyway, so let's go ahead and oh goodness gracious me. But yeah, you just have to keep in exactly the right balance in those plates, and also at the same time that we need to deal with the actual right amount of speed as much as possible. So that's the whole entire minigame is how this goes basically, folks. So even then there's nothing particularly groundbreaking or anything like that. It was just there for the sake of the actual the spinning intensity, where it comes to likely if you rank, the more you're able to actually stack up more plates, then the more points values you might get. So yeah, there's not much else to say. So even then though, a good thing about this as well is that, as you can tell, I've managed to rank up some more points, and plus because of that, I think I might should get a next costume. So kudos to that. Even though, as I said earlier, there won't be a 100% playthrough, so I said this loads of times already, so that can get pretty repetitive if I keep saying things like that. So anyway, so let's see what this next costume we got is. Basically this costume here. But of course, I don't really think I can able to actually just to show off most of the costumes of this game. Well, apart from the fact that I actually forgot about the actual, the costume customization for Rayman essentially as well. And it looks like I've only got about 4 minigames left by simply able to actually do this to achieve the high scores or something, which is almost comes off as pretty close. So anyways, now let's move on to the shooting range in terms of the Asia kind of shooting range kind of stuff. And this time around though, we're about to be playing through Year of the Rabbids, which, self-explanatory, it's just that we're gonna do the exact same thing, all things considered, except it now managed to take place in, one would say, the rest of Asia, such as like China, for instance, for that particular building. Or Japan, I don't know exactly you might gonna call it that, just because I haven't exactly looked upon Japan or Chinese or something like that. I must admit though, for this point guys, I apologize. But yeah, I'm actually very curious to see how what's going to be up next in terms of likely for the sake of this week. Even though if that will happen, oh, isn't that? Wait a second. Actually, gonna think about it. I just wish if that particular direct was real, during at some point in this Friday. In fact, if that becomes a true thing, then I can probably discuss more about it during at some point on this Friday, but I don't know exactly what sort of announcements we might get. Well, at least I might discuss that until at specifically by the end of, well, let's say in August, essentially. So even then, because of that, I think I should probably save that discussion until likely for the later day, during that some form or another. So, anyways, let's go ahead and keep shooting some more Rabbids, just like the usual, and hopefully just trying to rank up some more points in the process too. And yeah, that's all I can think about it. And sometimes I just keep on messing things up with the shooting stuff, because I swear to God, the actual hit detection on certain aiming shots wasn't exactly precise most of the time, because I seriously swear to God, because of the actual, well, unlike the original game, that I seem to able to aim it just fine enough. But specifically for this game is the fact that sometimes with the actual, the realistic setting, and especially noticeable with the in-game graphics most of the time, that I seriously just highly doubt it because of how the fact that sometimes I always get screwed over by, isn't that Ken from Street Fighter or something? That can't be right. Especially noticeable how the fact that Ken from Street Fighter was belongs to the actual Capcom, but I've no idea why they managed to dress up as the exact same familiar Ken fighter from, well, from Street Fighter series, which seems pretty odd, I must say, because of how the fact that, well, obviously they're trying to able to referencing some other things worth noting for, but either way though, let's not get ahead of ourselves at this point, because, well, we're just in the middle of the actual shooting range, as you can tell, even though sometimes that it might seem to get a little bit more longer in comparison to the actual, the original game, essentially, so, but you know, you get the idea of how this is going, so, okay, someone in the comments section below, or someone else in the comments, saying about the fact that in Journey Forms within the first part of this Let's Play so far, recently, that someone actually discussed on me about the fact that, would you like to able to do a Let's Play of Winnie the Pooh, Rumbly Tumbly Adventure, for the Nintendo GameCube / PlayStation 2? I would like to, but it's just that, well, unfortunately for the sake of time, just because of, not only because it was pretty hard to find, although I might try to get it on the PlayStation 2, and same applies to Piglet's Big Game on the PlayStation 2, and it's pretty obvious because, as you can tell, that we no longer have the GameCube version, sadly, just because, well, I do miss that version so much. Although the problem with that is the fact that the scratched up disc has been likely, well, I don't know if it might actually work on the Nintendo Wii back then, but I haven't really demonstrated that much, just because, well, I simply straight to the point that I no longer have that game on Nintendo GameCube. But I will try to get on the PlayStation 2 just for the sake of the forms of the convenience, and especially noticeable with some fans out there seem to able to really enjoy the Let's Play of Piglet's Big Game back in 2014. Gotta think about it though. But even then, according to the forms of the actual pricing in terms of some PlayStation 2 games, it might actually consider to be a lot more cheaper than the GameCube discs or GameCube games, because I think the only reason why is because the PS2 games are actually getting pretty cheaper these days now, just because the PlayStation 2 has been like super successful when it comes to the forms of the biggest selling consoles of all time, next to I would say the original Game Boy. Couldn't think about it. I haven't exactly looked upon that much in terms of selling points in terms of game consoles or even handhelds for that matter. Oh, actually, gonna think about it, Nintendo Wii is also doing very well as well back then, because of, you know, a lot of like minigames, a lot of, you know, pretty much everything for that regard. So anyways, here we come to the actual ending segment in terms of Year of the Rabbid, as you can tell. And basically, we need to take down 4 of those different Rabbids, as you can see right here. And basically, we're gonna have to able to once again just trying to strike them out, while at the same time, while the shield is exactly deactivated. So yeah, once again, it's all about timing shots and what have you. So even though there's not much else to say from there, so even then there's not much else to think about it. So either way though, we'll go ahead and just, oh jeez Louise, sometimes it's really hard to precise with, even for that particular aiming shot like that. In fact, nonetheless though, is the fact that we're actually getting ourselves some butt shots from those rabbits from there. So yeah, I think overall, especially noticeable for the Asia kind of selections of minigames, I think we actually did this pretty alright. Even though there are some exceptions, mind you, which is of course the office minigame that we seem to able to mess up most of the time because of the timing is actually a little bit iffy at points. But apart from those aside things though, I still really enjoyed that minigame though still. But, you know, I might able to try to do a little bit more slightly better and doing at some point in the future, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and just take down even more rabbits from there and try to able to block back the actual the plunger. So hopefully we would be able to actually, although despite we're actually going to be missing a lot of combos potentially, isn't just me, or is that those groups of rabbits are wearing the Jason masks, which kind of think about it, it reminds me of so much of Jason as far as the horror movies as far as I'm concerned. So anyways, I think that pretty much takes care of Year of the Rabbit, and fundamentally speaking, we also got ourselves a high score. So we're actually on first place, so yeah, kudos to that. And we've actually unlocked one of those costumes as you can see right here, so yeah, how's that for that? And I think, fundamentally speaking, is that I'm afraid to say for this point, guys, we got endings off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Rayman Raving Rabbids 2. Is the fact that we're about to be moving on to the next selections of minigames, and this time around, we're going to be going into South America. So I'll see you guys until on Friday. Later, fellas.